guys, I hope you're all well. I'm here in Wales at A1K9 where my adorable German Shepherd protection dogs have come from, and lots of you have asked me so many questions that I thought would be really good to get Charles, who owns this company, to literally do a questions and answers so that you can get the information you would like in order to buy a dog, because so many people have got this completely wrong. So this is Charles. Say hi. Thanks for doing this, because so many of my followers have asked to see and to hear all about this place that I keep going on about. And the biggest question is, what makes you different?
Probably experience. We've been doing this now for thick end of 30 years. I've been training dogs now for 40 years this year. And I think experience counts for a lot. You know, with protection dogs, you really can't afford to get it wrong. So you need to know your customers, you need to know your dogs. We pride ourselves in building good, strong relationships with our clients. We try and understand their needs as best we can.
Yeah.
They're transparent with us, we're transparent with them, and we match the dog to the customer.
So basically, you have the family come,
sure,
like we did,
and
spend a few days here,
yeah,
staying in a hotel and coming up and literally watching and helping and training,
yeah,
the dogs that they're going to take home.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you, so at the end of that, do you match the right dogs to the right people? Do the people choose their dogs, or how does that work?
Typically, I'll speak to the people, I'll build up a rough idea as to what I think their requirements are,
yeah,
and then I'll put forward a short list of dogs. You know, we've typically normally got 30-35 dogs here in training, so we're never short of choice.
Yeah.
And it's a case then of picking what I think is best, that's going to be best suited to fitting.
And then like us, we had like 4 or 5 dogs
sure,
that you thought were right, and then we kind of picked the one that we felt was right, and then we narrowed it down, and then I just knew who my dog was.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm now here today, and I've just picked up my second dog, and I just knew she was right for us, and you did, and I trust you like immensely. And I know that when I bought my dog, the first one, you were on the end of the phone. You and Debbie, your partner, were just there on an email and on the end of a phone whenever I needed you, which wasn't often, but there were questions in settling him in. But it took a few days. Do you know what? So many people are so frightened of these protection dogs. They seem to think that they are these violent animals that are going to come in your house and terrorise everybody in the family. My dog, you would never know was a protection dog unless I ordered him to be one. He's the most lovable, adorable animal. So is that all in the training? Do you train them that way, or do you kind of know them? Well, how does that work?
Well, you can't train temperament, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is I don't start with puppies. I buy adult dogs.
Yeah.
We assess the dogs for temperament, capability.
Is that very important that you don't buy a puppy and try and train it yourself?
Very much so, right? There are lots of things. I can go to puppies again, but the other thing is everything that I buy is fully health tested. And again, German Shepherds in particular, Malinois, suffer hips, elbows, you know, it's a known problem with the dogs. Everything that I buy has to be 0 hips and elbows, which is effectively the best you can get.
So you're buying an extremely healthy animal that's
very much
completely checked.
So I cherry pick,
yeah,
for want of a better way of putting it, the best of the best.
Yeah.
They've all done some training prior to coming here.
Yeah.
They've all had a grounding in it. I then look at that and I work out where we're going to go from there.
How often do you normally have the dogs with you before they're ready to go?
Typically a dog is going to spend a year here from the time that I get it to the time that I supply it. Might be 8 months, it depends if the dog's done lots of training before it's come here. But I physically assess every dog before it leaves here.
Yeah, it's amazing. In the world that we live in now, a lot of people have said to me, why do you need a protection dog? I don't want to go into my personal circumstances to why I first contacted you. But I realise now from talking to you and understanding in the world that we live in now,
yeah.
Do you think most people do need a protection dog?
I wouldn't say most people.
Who would need?
Okay, I'm known for being straight speaking.
Yeah, and I like that, and my viewers love that.
And the answer is, to put it in a nutshell, certainly around the bigger cities, London, yeah, Manchester, Birmingham, places like that, and dare I say, even in some of the sort of nicer enclaves out in the country, you know, these thieves know where the nicer areas are. So if you're living in one of the, in inverted commas, better areas, you're driving a half decent car. From that, these people will work out, do you know what, they're driving an expensive car. If they're a woman, they're likely to have some decent jewellery. If they're a guy, they're going to have decent watches. That can all play a factor in this. But a decent car, decent house in the right area, unfortunately, you might as well have a target on your back.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen.
Right, and the other question that comes in so much is, listen, you know, I know that these dogs are mega money.
Yeah.
What makes them mega money? And would you call it mega money for what? Because the way I look at it is, I would rather have one dog than a whole security system, which is, it's like having your own personal security guard.
Look, I've got a client who's spent, and I'm going back 12 years ago now when he came to me to buy a dog. This chap had spent £125,000 12 years ago upgrading security and surveillance systems around his house.
Yeah.
It didn't stop two guys getting into his son's bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning, waking a 12-year-old boy up and saying, "Where do your parents keep the safe?"
Yeah.
Before they then proceeded then to go into the owner's house, to my client's bedroom rather, pull him and his wife out of bed, 2 o'clock in the morning, demand access to the safe, help themselves to an awful lot of cash, watches, jewellery and stuff like that. If I tell you that 12-year-old boy, who is now going to be, 24?
Yeah.
I know for a fact until he was 18, 19, he was still having flashbacks to being woken up in the middle of the night by two guys standing over
without
his
going
bed.
into it, I can well believe that.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's pretty scary out there.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Are these animals okay around babies and small children?
I think the answer is any self-respecting adult parent is going to be thinking to themselves, look, I'm not going to leave a big dog unattended.
This is like a big fucking dog, you know.
with my kid, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I've got dogs that I've supplied that live alongside toddlers. We supplied an incredibly highly trained dog last year, 24 hours after the handover had finished. We do proper handovers with all of our dogs. In other words, no handover, no sale.
So whatever country, wherever it is, you will take that dog personally.
But the answer is, if people don't want to spend the time and expend the effort doing a proper handover, then the answer is there's loads of other firms, phone one of them because they won't get one of mine.
And that I totally respect, because I actually think the handover is the most important
Definitely.
thing. You know, the guidance we had when we had our dog, we had, you know, the whole instructions. We'd done all the training here, but just so we had it in front of us in a folder, we knew exactly what we were doing. But you know what, guys, it just takes a few days and then you don't even realise that dog's a protection dog. It goes out the window. You only need it if you need it. Otherwise, they are a completely loving, adorable pet. That is what they are. My dog, obviously my girl's coming home with me today, but my boy is around babies, young children, my mum, elderly people, loads of people. He's off lead in a park. I take him anywhere and everywhere, and he is our best friend, and he's absolutely amazing. And I know that if I had gone to anywhere else, and believe me, before I met Charles, I had phoned and done my homework, and I just didn't get the same vibe. And coming down here, meeting this wonderful team, top trainer Tom, Debbie, Charles's partner, the other boys that play such an integral part in training these dogs daily for, let me tell you, years. And girls. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that because I'm all into women power, but and girls. You know, it's amazing what goes into it. And you know what, when you spend this kind of money on your animal and you realise what goes into that animal to make it so special, you realise that it's worth every damn penny. And I don't know where I would be. As I said, I don't want to go into all my personal facts to why I got a protection dog, but I am a different person. My family is just a different family. They are part of our family, and I don't know where I would actually be without my boy, because honestly I love him to bits, like I keep telling you guys, and it is important. So, you know, if you're running a business, which is, you know, you need that protection. If you're a woman on your own, you need that protection. If you've had a burglary or something horrific in your life, you need that protection. If you're out in the streets running at night and you want to be able to run freely, exercise, go in the parks as a woman, then you know what, you take your dog and he runs by me every day. He's out with me all the time. So guys, listen, if there's any questions, I'm going to put Charles's telephone number at the bottom of this, also his Instagram handle, which you can find. You can phone him at any time. He's always available to, or he'll ring you back to answer any of your questions. You want to come and spend a couple of days up here, have a look at the dogs. You're free, there's no obligations. You can stay in a little hotel down the road and Charles will take you through. It's a really fun day actually, but you need to be here to see how brilliant this place is, and I can't recommend it higher. Honestly, Charles has now become a really good friend of mine and my husband's, and his partner Debbie, we absolutely love them to bits. And that's really it. So I'm going to go now because I'm going to take my girlie home. I've got a long drive, but it's been an amazing few days, and I will catch up with you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.